Good morning, Team FYN sports fans. Welcome to Instant Replay. I am your host, Lauren Hunter, along with my co host, Dave Garner. Dave, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Lauren. I tell you what, it's Monday morning, but we are ready to rock and roll. A lot of things, of course, going on in the world of local sports. And, Lauren, today I want to really talk a little bit about you and kind of introduce you to our Team FYN sports fans out there. And I'm excited to have you as part of the show. Unfortunately, we do begin today on a little bit of a somber note. Prayers and condolences to the family of Blake Millsap, a student at Harmony Elementary in Pickens County. Blake, again, losing his battle to leukemia over the weekend. And my wife actually is a teacher at Harmony and actually taught Blake. So this morning I have sort of a direct or indirect, if you will, connection to Blake through her teaching. And I can tell you it's been a very tough morning for the students and teachers at Harmony Elementary in Jasper. And so, again, with heavy hearts, we come on the air this morning, this week. But we do so in honor and in memory of Blake Millsap, who, from what I've heard from everyone, was just an outstanding young man, 8 years old, passed obviously way too soon. There are certain things that we'll never understand in this world in our lifetime. All we can do is continue to pray for the family. So again, we do want to dedicate this show today in the memory of Mr. Blake Millsap, who was a student athlete in his own right, very active at the rec department in Pickens County as a baseball player, very well liked by his peers, his teachers, and everyone that knew him. He touched so many people. And so, again, as I said, it is with heavy hearts that we do come on the air this morning, but we do want to dedicate this morning's show to Blake.
Yes, thank you, Dave, for that. And of course, we do send our prayers and thoughts to the Millsap family. I unfortunately do not have that personal note that you have, Dave. But from what you said, I understand that Blake was a wonderful young man. And of course, our prayers and thoughts go to this family. Now, to kind of turn over to maybe a little bit of a lighter note and introduce all of our viewers to me. Again, my name is Lauren Hunter. This is my debut show on Instant Replay. I just recently graduated from the University of North Georgia. I'm a proud Nighthawk alum. I graduated with a bachelor's in communication and a minor in public relations. My sports background goes back to when I was a little girl. I grew up a UGA football fan. Go Dogs. My granddad actually attended the University of Georgia a while back, and he and my grandmother are still proud season ticket holders to all the football games. I am, like I said, a UGA fan through and through. But when I got into college, I got the opportunity to work for the Gwinnett Braves back when they were the Gwinnett Braves. And I worked there for 3 years, fell in love with baseball, and now I can say I'm a Braves girl through and through as well. Back to you, Dave.
Absolutely. Excited to have you. And, you and I have talked, Lauren and I have talked off camera. And for the folks out there that are watching this morning, I think you're going to be very excited about what Lauren will bring to the Team FYN sports team and to this program. Remember, this show, the Instant Replay, is just kind of a highlight show, if you will, of the things that happened throughout the course of the week or the week prior, and of course a preview show leading up to. So again, for the full story of what we do here at Team FYN Sports, you're welcome to log on, check out all of our social media, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Also be sure to go on and like our YouTube page as well. And Lauren is going to be right in the middle of all that. So again, we appreciate Lauren being on with us right here. And Lauren, you were busy this past week covering high school sports. I mean, you have jumped right in to Team FYN Sports right here on FYNTV.com, and you have been all over the place. I know that you were at that Pickens-Dawson spring football scrimmage last week. But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about Gilmer. They have a new head coach in Kevin Saunders taking over. A lot of eyes were on this Bobcat team last week as they scrimmaged St. Francis, a private school out of Alpharetta. What was your take and some of the things that you were able to come away with from that scrimmage?
Yes, Dave. So like you said, I was at the scrimmage against the Dawson County Tigers and the Pickens County Dragons, and that was really exciting. And like you also said, we'll get into that in a little bit. But from what I saw from the scrimmage this weekend with the Gilmer Bobcats and the St. Francis, it looked like the Cats fell 35-14 to the Knights from St. Francis, unfortunately. And like I said, I was not on the sideline from that game, but this was the first game under new coach Kevin Saunders. So we are really excited to see how the rest of this preseason goes into the regular season game.
Yeah, and St. Francis again, a team that probably a lot of folks around here don't know a lot about. I mean, again, they are a private school. They play North Cobb Christian, Mount Perrin, some of those folks. They do have some pretty good athletes, but it's going to be a learning process for Gilmer. Anytime you bring in a new coach, as you know, Lauren, you always have a change in philosophy, whether it be offense, defense, special teams, or all of the above. It's a different climate. It's a different system. These guys are going to, again, you talk about the last few years and how Gilmer struggled. So it's going to be a learning process even into the 2019 fall season. So it should be a lot of fun, though. There's excitement in the air, but it is going to be a process. So folks in Gilmer County are certainly going to have to just be patient with that. How about some of the other things going on in Gilmer County? I know, Lauren, you've got some notes here from some different things that have been going on. A lot of youth camps as we kind of transition now from the high school sports season into the summer. I know there's going to be a lot of other things going on. And really the only thing that we have left, the only remnants, if you will, now of the spring season is spring football, which we're, of course, talking about a little bit here today. But several other things going on with year-end banquets and youth camps and so forth.
Yes, a lot going on over in Gilmer County as far as year-end banquets. The golf team, the track team, the tennis team, and the soccer team all had their year-end banquets this year. And then the Gilmer Fishing Club recognized Isaac B. as Angler of the Year and Logan B. as Rookie of the Year. Congratulations to these guys. Awesome that they have a fishing team. I didn't even know that until recently that there was a Gilmer Fishing Club. So congratulations to all these teams on an awesome season. Definitely looking forward to covering more of that in the future. Now, to kind of get a little bit more into news from Gilmer County, so they have signups currently underway for the following camps: Lady Cat Softball Camp, which is set for June 24th through the 27th. The Little Kids Basketball Camp taking place on the same days. Lady Cat Basketball Camp will be held from June 3rd through the 6th. And the Youth Baseball Camp is June 10th through the 12th. Check out the Gilmer High School Facebook page for more information on how to register for these camps for all you future Bobcats out there. Dave?
Yep. Yeah, it's always a fun time of year watching those kids run around. For years, I had the opportunity to go out and cover these youth camps and watch these future high school stars, if you will. And as folks out there know, Team FYN Sports, we're always highlighting and promoting student athletes in a positive way. And when we say student athletes, we're not just talking about the high school kids. We've done a lot of stuff this past year with Team FYN Sports, fifth grade stuff, Park and Rec Championships. Our very own BKP has been very involved with that. And so we're all about student athletes, K through 12, all the way through. And so these youth camps are kind of confirmation of that as we bring you more information on those camps. A lot of things, of course, going on in Gilmer County. We're kind of moving area by area this morning. And Lauren, I kind of want to jump now to Pickens County for just a moment. I know you were at the scrimmage on Friday night. We're going to get to that a little bit later on. But some other things going on in Pickens County. And one thing I want to mention, I kind of want to get your take on this too, esports. Becoming like an official GHSA sanctioned sports. Who would have known that video games is, I'm old guy, so I just think of it as video games. It's gaming, would become an actual GHSA recognized sport. And the very first year of it, Pickens County and Gilmer County, Fannin County as well, among other schools in our area, participating in esports. And how about this, folks? Last week, Pickens High School winning a state championship in Rocket League. Now, for those that are not familiar, Rocket League is one of those games. It's kind of like soccer, but with cars, and you're not going to ball into a goal, and I won't get into the details. But regardless, Pickens High School defeating Savannah Country or Calvary Day out of Savannah in the state championship. And I don't know if you guys saw any of this on Twitter. Pickens High School does a great job with their social media, but they posted the video of the countdown and winning the state championship. And I think it's believed that I think it's only like the second state championship overall as a team in school history. Of course, back with the Dragonette state championships, decades ago in the 70s and so forth. But again, how about the high school, the Pickens County High School Esports Rocket League state champions in the first year of the competition? And from what I understand, I believe Gilmer County, their League of Legends gaming team, I believe is in the state championship this week, if I'm not mistaken. So don't ask me how I know about all this stuff. Let's just leave it alone. But Lauren, I do want to get your take on it. I mean, you're right out of college, so you may have a little bit better perspective of this kind of stuff? Not saying you're a gamer, but I know you've probably been around it a little bit. What do you think in general about esports being an official sanctioned GHSA sport?
Yeah, Dave. So first of all, congratulations to these guys for winning this championship. You know, it's crazy. You said something about whether or not I'm a gamer. I am most definitely not a gamer. The last time I tried to play Fortnite, I couldn't even figure out how to get my guy to run the correct way. So basically the person that I was in the game was just running in the wrong direction. He was running backwards. I have played Rocket League once before, and I think I was a little bit better at it because you're driving, and like you said, it's like you're playing soccer, but in a car. And, you know, it is just crazy to me that the first year as a GHSA sport, our very own Pickens Dragons win the state championship. I mean, to come out right out of the gate and the first year as a team to take the state championship is awesome. And I definitely think that there's a market for this in the area. I mean, you think of Atlanta as such a hub for gaming and for movies, and now this is spreading. And so it's definitely an awesome way for these young people to get involved and to find an outlet and a club that they enjoy. So definitely congratulations to these guys on winning that state championship. Dave?
Yeah, and it's neat. I mean, that's just the day and time we're in. But again, the team of Mason Watkins, Carter Logan, and Eric Robinson, who of course is a graduating senior now at Pickens High School, he will leave his legacy as a state champion at Pickens High School, in addition to soccer and some of the other things that these guys do. I know that Mason, I believe, he plays on the football team. Carter and Eric, I think, play soccer. So these guys are multi-sport athletes, if you will. And that is translated to the hand-eye coordination in the world of e-gaming. So again, congratulations, Pickens High School, on that Rocket League State Esports Championship. Lauren, you've got some news on another student athlete from Pickens High School who also achieved championship level worthy recognition, Mr. Jake King, who a lot of us know as the guy that roams the sidelines. He's the student manager on the basketball team. He's the one that dabs everybody up when they come off the bench in the starting lineups. I've personally got to know Jake a little bit over the years. Our very own RJ Casey, who's down in Pickens County, can also attest and can share more about Jake. But you've got some news about Jake and something that he accomplished over the weekend.
Yeah, Dave, congratulations to Mr. Jake King for taking the gold medal in the 50-meter swim event at the Special Olympics State Championship at Emory University this weekend. And not only did he take gold in this first event, he also took silver in the 100-meter swim event. Awesome job, Jake. Congratulations to you. That's amazing. I can barely even swim from one end of the pool to the other. So definitely congratulations to you for taking this award. We are very proud of you and wish you all the best in the future, and looking forward to seeing you more on the sidelines as I cover alongside RJ Casey at some of these Pickens events and go to some of these events. Now, Dave, this is going to take us into our first break of the show. So stay with us, Team FYN sports fans. We will be back with you very shortly.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
It's always Truck Month at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, and that means maximum discounts no other dealer can touch, like over $11,000 off new Silverado crew cabs, or save over $5,500 off new Chevy Colorado. Nobody's got a selection like this, or bigger discounts than Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where it's Truck Month every hour, every day, every month, and where Chevy trucks cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
At Ingalls, we have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Welcome back, Team FYN sports fans, to Instant Replay. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, along with my co-host, Dave Garner. We were just talking about some of the local sports updates in the area, talking about Pickens County Dragons, their first team ever for Rocket League, taking the state championship this weekend. And then also Jake King taking the gold medal in the 50-meter swim event at the Special Olympics at Emory University. And then also taking the silver medal in the 100 meters events. Congratulations to these guys. So we're going to jump right into some news over in Lumpkin County. Dave, talking about their hire for a new head coach. Want to welcome Mr. Caleb Searles on board as the new head coach for the Lumpkin County Indians. He comes from Stevens County to us after a career at Carson Newman, playing as their quarterback before joining the coaching staff at Gaffney High School in South Carolina, where during his time on staff there, they took a state championship. And then after leaving there, he joined the staff at Cartersville High, where they also took another state championship. So then he went on to Stevens County to become an assistant coach and a quarterback coach, and now he is joining us as the head coach over at the Lumpkin County Indians. So definitely looking forward to welcoming him as we go into the preseason and then, of course, into the regular season. Dave, what is your take on all this?
Well, obviously this week we're talking a lot about spring football, kind of our wrap up. Again, it's just kind of a short period. You know, we've been off the air. We missed last week, came back this week. So a lot of catching up to do, of course, with high school football, but you're right. And I know you've got some Dahlonega ties there. So again, I know you're excited about this hire here, Coach Caleb Searles. But as you mentioned, Lauren, I mean, he comes from a great pedigree. You talk about Gaffney, South Carolina, which is a powerhouse program in Carolina. Cartersville, I mean, obviously folks in this area know about Cartersville and how good they are. Stevens County, which traditionally is a very good football program, and they still are. And so when you look at what he's done, and obviously over at Stevens, you had Coach Wes Tankersley, who, of course, was at Gilmer years ago, coaching over there. So I'm sure there was probably some conversations going on about the area, you know, in general, about the demographics of the region. But Coach Caleb Searles, I know they're excited to have him over in Lumpkin County. The Indians have been one of those programs that have been up and down, you know, certainly through the years, but they have the facilities, they have the pedigree, they've had some good student athletes come through that program and excel at the next level. So again, it's a situation that I think Searles is going to come into and have the opportunity to be productive and to establish kind of a winning program over there. And I'm excited for him. I know obviously getting his first spring practice under his belt is certainly going to be a step in the right direction. And sometimes it takes that transition time, as we talked about. You know, we mentioned Coach Kevin Saunders over in Gilmer County as the new Bobcats coach. It's going to be a transition. Same in Lumpkin County, no different there. But I like Searles. I like where he's come from. You know, also has a little bit of that college pedigree, as we talked about, playing at Carson Newman, which is a pretty good program in its own right. And so, again, it'll be exciting for him to see kind of where he goes from here. He's more of an offensive type-minded coach, as we talked about, being a quarterback's coach, assistant head coach, and so forth at Stevens County over the last couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see where we lead with that one. Now, again, Lauren, I know you were at the Pickens-Dawson scrimmage, and we talked about this. Two programs last year that really made a lot of noise in our coverage area were the Dawson County Tigers and the Pickens Dragons. And again, both of these teams scrimmaging last week, and a lot of excitement, a lot of questions, of course, coming into the year. Both teams, you know, graduating again, several skill position players and some of the guys that really helped establish them last year. What was your take from that scrimmage? Let's spend a little bit of time talking about it, because you were there, big atmosphere on Friday, and I know a lot of folks were there as well to watch it.
Yeah, Dave, like you said, I was there on Friday night reporting from the sidelines. Let me just say it was good to be at some high school football, because the last time I can remember being at a high school football game was when I was in high school. But I definitely have a heart and a passion for high school football, and it was so great to be there. You could just feel the excitement and energy on both sidelines. And talking to some of the coaching staff and some of the staff on Friday night, you could tell that both of these programs are kind of going through a rebuilding period. Definitely with the Dragons getting the new head coach Jeff Nelson, and then also the Dawson County Tigers graduating a lot of students this season or this past year. Definitely looking forward to going into some of these new upbringing and everything. Like I said, it was a very exciting atmosphere. There were fans for both sides there cheering on their teams. I want to say that there was a strong defensive game on both sides, and we'll go a little bit more into some highlights for the individual sides here in a second. But for the first half, it was a 0-0 tied game, so you could definitely see the defensive strengths for both of these teams. Final score ended up being 16-10 Tigers. But to go into some individual highlights for the Pickens County Dragons, first of all, we want to thank our RJ Casey for being there and for all the coverage he does for Team FYN Sports. RJ, we appreciate you, and these highlights are from him for the Pickens County Dragons. Linebacker T.C. Jarrett had a sack on this next picture that you're about to see. He had multiple sacks in the first half. Like I said, for this game, you could definitely see the strong defensive sides for both of these teams. Then we have a picture featuring quarterback Jared Whitmore with a nice run. He threw a 65-yard touchdown pass to Devin Hand in the third quarter. And then we have a picture of sophomore kicker Jose Sanchez with a 35-yard field goal in the fourth quarter. He went one-on-one on attempted points and one-on-one on field goals. And like I mentioned earlier, this was head coach Jeff Nelson's first game as new head coach. He is taking over for former head coach Chris Parker, who is now the athletic director, of course, for the Pickens County Dragons. Dave, what was kind of your take from this game?
Well, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, Coach Parker has kind of moved into that central office role. I mean, we knew he was the countywide AD. He also served, of course, as the head football coach over the last, several seasons. The old ball coach is what I call him there. But I wonder, Parker still, I would think, he's going to, allow Coach Nelson to coach. Obviously, Nelson's been on his staff as a coordinator for the last several years, and they've coached together for a long time. So I think that Parker's influence is still going to be very much with this program. I don't think that all of a sudden, Parker's going to ride off into the sunset. And we're never going to hear from him again. I know that there's going to be some influence there. I feel like those guys have a really good relationship, and I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Jeff Nelson, maybe picks his brain every once in a while or whatever. I don't know the dynamic. I'm not in the locker room. I can only imagine that those guys have that closeness there. But obviously, Coach Nelson, if it ain't broke, no need to fix it, as they say. And so with this team, going 11-1 last year, breaking all kinds of school records, I don't think that the philosophy is going to change a whole lot. I think we saw that a lot on Friday night. I think Coach Nelson, again, maybe a few tweaks here or there due to some of the graduation losses. Obviously, lose players like Zach Goss and those sorts of folks. But you have C.J. Stryker. You have some of these guys back. And so I don't think the philosophy is going to change much. They may get there a different way, maybe, but for the most part, I like what I saw. And then on the flip side of that, Sid Maxwell, again, he's been at it forever. Dawson County, what a great season last year, advancing into the postseason and moving on. And this is a program that's rolling right now. And it's like they say, when that train stops, it's hard to get it going again. But once you get it rolling, you just have to keep it rolling. And I think for Dawson County, that's kind of what we're seeing from those guys right now. Maxwell, when he basically had retired after going over to Lambert and Forsyth County and kind of starting up that program, and Dawson County kind of pulled him out of retirement. And it was at that moment that he said, you know what, I've been so serious all these years about coaching. Now that I'm back here and I'm the old guy, I'm going to let these guys play. I'm going to let these guys have fun now. And that's what he's done since he's come to Dawson County. He's established that culture of just, having a good time. And the players have responded. This has been a program the last couple of years that has really dominated. And, a bounce or two here or there last year, and they would have went a lot further than they did, playing against the GACs of the world and so forth, where, they're 2 points, in that ball game separating those teams. So really like what I saw, but especially the younger guys, as you said, Lauren, Jared Whitmore, again, throwing the big pass there. I saw a lot of younger guys, of course, stepping in late in that scrimmage, putting up some offense. 16-10 Dawson County, as you said, the winner in that one. But we're going to hear plenty more about these two teams as these guys now go into summer workout mode. And it's going to be exciting. When we get on the other side of summer, we hit August 1st, man, they're going to hit the ground running. And it's going to be exciting to see, where these programs go.
Yeah, Dave, and let's talk about some of these programs that are going through this transition. Hearing you talk about it and thinking about my own notes as well. You have Lumpkin County. We were just talking about getting a new head coach with Caleb Sorrells. You have the Dragons, Pickens County Dragons, getting a new head coach with Jeff Nelson, which, like we said, Jeff has been here for a while, and this is his first time taking over as head coach. Yes, but it's not like he's a brand new guy. But you still have that transition of going in from this role as, from being on the coaching staff to now you're the head coach. This is it. And like you also said, I'm sure he has that relationship with former head coach Chris Parker. So it's not like he's being left out to dry, but definitely looking forward to that as well. And now with Dawson County graduating as many guys as they have, just the ones you've mentioned, and then also, they're going into a transition period as well with all of these graduates. And then talking to some of the staff the other night, finding out that there's a 4-way tie basically for the quarterback position. So definitely a lot of these teams are kind of going through this transition period in the summer. And I'm definitely looking forward to being out on the sideline. I should be at some of these spring practices. I will be at these spring practices. Let me back up there for a second. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing these guys and these coaches out in this mode. Dave, you have any more comment about that before we go into the Dawson County Tigers highlights?
Yeah, I mean, I just think, it's obviously an exciting time of year, and you're kind of coming on at a time where we're kind of wrapping up the spring, so we'll have to bridge the gap through the summer and talk more regional, national stuff, which we'll get to also at the tail end of this show. So the high school sports are about to go away, but what a great note to kind of end the spring season on. It's always, have all the other sports in the spring that are going into the championships and region mode. And then after that, it's pretty much spring football. And then it's graduation time as we near the end of the school year. But I'm excited about it. I guess we're up against another break here. Maybe after the break, we'll jump back in and talk about Dawson County. But the Tigers, man, just very impressed with what I've seen. And I guess we'll see some highlights from these guys here in a few minutes.
That's right. And like Dave said, Team FYN Sports fans, we are going to head into our next break. Stay with us, and when we come back, we'll get highlights from the Dawson County Tigers, as I was on the Tigers sideline while our reporter RJ Casey was mainly on the Pickens Dragons sideline. We'll talk about those, and then we'll get into some national sports as well. Stay with us, fans. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
It's always Truck Month at Days Chevrolet in Jasper, and that means maximum discounts no other dealer can touch, like over $11,000 off new Silverado crew cabs, or save over $5,500 off new Chevy Colorado. Nobody's got a selection like this, or bigger discounts than Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where it's Truck Month every hour, every day, every month, and where Chevy trucks cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
At Ingalls, we have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Welcome back, Team FYN sports fans. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, along with my co-host, Dave Garner. We're talking about some of the local high school sports and their spring season. We just got done talking about the Pickens County Dragons and Dawson County Tigers scrimmage over the weekend. Of course, we started with the Pickens County Dragons highlights from our reporter, RJ Casey. RJ, thank you for those highlights and for standing out there on the sideline for us this past weekend. And we're also talking about some of the transitions going on between Dawson County Tigers, the Pickens County Dragons, and the Lumpkin County Indians. Of course, the Lumpkin County Indians making a new selection with head coach Caleb Sorrells over the week. And then also in Pickens County Dragons, Jeff Nelson starting out as the head coach after Chris Parker stepping down. And then also we have the Dawson County Tigers going through a little bit transition of their own, graduating some seniors and then trying to find a new quarterback to take over the rest of the season. Dave, you want to kind of remind our viewers of some of the things we were talking about before the break from your end?
Yeah, I guess we're kind of breaking you in, Lauren. Baptism by fire. I mean, we're throwing you in, right here at the end of spring football practice. So again, I know you're getting acclimated to all these teams. I know you'll be doing a lot of homework throughout the summer leading into the fall season, which is always a great time. So again, I think you're coming on at the right time, certainly from a Team FYN sports standpoint, as we highlight, promote student athletes in a positive way. I like what you said about, the scrimmage and certainly, RJ Casey, man, if it happens down in Pickens County, he's all over it. I mean, RJ has been a mainstay with Dragon Athletics for years now, even back into high school. And now that he's well out of high school, he's got a little age on him as well, but he's still following those guys and he's got it locked down if it happens in Pickens for sure. So Again, great stuff there from RJ. I'm excited to see what you have because I know you had a little bit different perspective because you were over on the Dawson sideline on Friday night. And, as you mentioned, I mean, through 3 quarters, we had no score. I mean, it was definitely a defensive battle, certainly for most of the scrimmage there before the offenses and some of the younger guys started kind of opening it up a little bit. What was your take from where you were at on Friday?
Dave, you cracked me up saying that's baptism by fire for me, and it kind of is, but that's the nature of a sports reporter, and I knew that when I took the job, and that's how I like it sometimes, because the best way you can learn is just by jumping in and sort of getting your hands dirty and seeing what's going on. So definitely that's not something that bothers me. I am all over it, ready to talk about sports 24/7, but to get into what I saw on the Dawson County Tigers sideline, we had an interception by Tigers number 8, Hunter Barron, in the first quarter, which of course got the fans excited because it was really sort of the first offensive motion that we had seen for the first part of the game, big offensive motion. And then a fumble by the Dragons at the second quarter was picked up by Tigers number 63, Braden Kinney. And then we had our first touchdown of the game with number 24, Will Whalen, in the third quarter. And as you can see, fans, with that picture that Josh just threw up for us, a little bit of celebration. We always love to see the guys celebrating after their touchdown. It always gets the fans excited and gets us on the sideline reporting exciting as well to see the teams score and to get excited about their accomplishment. Then we have a field goal by Caleb Bonesteel in the fourth quarter, and another interception by Nick Beluga in the fourth led to a touchdown by number 20, Trip Kane, in the fourth quarter. And you can see that, and we had a final score of 16-10 at the end of the game. So it's really exciting to be on the sideline and see sort of that spring matchup going on in this region. Dave, what was your take on that?
Well, it's always, with spring football, it's one of those things where, you're kind of gauging numbers and you tend to lose a few guys, going into fall. You don't always, it's kind of known that you don't retain everyone necessarily. So really, you're kind of just getting a look at, where you're at, and it gives the coaches a little bit of time to evaluate going into the fall. And I think for these two teams on Friday night, I know we're talking about Dawson now because you were on that sideline there, but I think really for both of these teams on Friday night, it gave these coaches, especially Coach Jeff Nelson, being not that, again, he's been with the program now for years. I mean, it's not like he's having to evaluate his personnel for the first time as a new head coach. He's the head coach for the first time, but he's not a new coach to the program. And so I think he's very aware of his personnel, but just seeing how those pieces fit, he's more of a defensive minded coach, where I think Parker, we've kind of seen more as the offensive minded play caller type coach. So I think that, it gave Coach Nelson a good chance to see his offense a little bit and being able to really analyze those guys. I think he's still going to work primarily defensively. Certainly Coach Maxwell, again, a little bit of both sides there. A lot of offense. I remember Coach Maxwell when I was in high school. He was one of my assistants. So, he and I go way back. I know a lot about Coach Maxwell. But I think spring football just gives you an opportunity to kind of see where your program's at. But keeping it real, I mean, obviously, there's got a lot of work to be done between now and, that August 16th or whatever kickoff. Whenever these guys go at it, they'll have another scrimmage game, probably shortly after they go back to school as well, leading up to that. So, spring, it is what it is. It's a good evaluator, but I don't think you can look too much into it as well. I think you kind of just have to keep it, and it is what it is. But I think for both these teams, we saw a lot of positive things on Friday night.
Yeah, definitely saw a lot of positive things as well going into this game. It's like you said, always exciting to see how things are going to come out because seasons change from one season to the next. I mean, like we said, we've got some transition periods going on. But even if nothing changes as far as coaching staff or really even as players, I mean, it's a new season, it's a new time. And we're pretty early on. I mean, we're getting done with spring practices, but we're going into the summer. And like you said, Dave, I mean, there's always a lot of work to do over those few months. And the summer will fly by, but it's definitely a time to get to work. And speaking of which, getting to work and focusing on some things, Josh, if you want to go ahead and roll the video of the post-game interview with Coach Sid Maxwell, see what he said to say about what they're focusing in the rest of the preseason. Hey sports fans, I'm Lauren Hunter here with Coach Maxwell. Coach, first of all, congratulations on your win, 16-10 over the Pickens Dragons. Tell me, Coach, based off tonight's performance, what do you think you'll focus on for the rest of the preseason?
Just trying to get better. Again, it's a scrimmage. I know Coach Nelson over at Pickens. We worked together many years, and we're both here not worried about who wins or loses, but we're worried more about, one, nobody gets hurt, and two, we make it a learning experience for all of us.
And speaking of which, starting quarterback number 2, Max Moon, was spotted on the sideline with what looked like maybe a small head injury. What is his status?
Don't know. I'd follow up. It might have been a bone bruise. His point tender. Probably have to x-ray and find out.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, so like we see from that video talking about going into the rest of the preseason, 2 things. I always think it's interesting how these coaches get to know each other. And then part of me always wonders like, what do they know from one another when they've been coaching together? And Coach Maxwell there talking about knowing Coach Nelson and how they have such a good relationship. And that's one thing that I love about high school sports is the sort of community that it creates. And it's one of those things that even when you have this rivalry and even when you're going against this opponent, at the end of the day, it's so important to remember that it's high school football. I mean, yes, it's important, but it's also important to remember that these are kids that are just getting out there and want to compete, but also want to have a good time. So definitely refreshing to see Coach Maxwell talk about the good relationship between he and Coach Nelson, and definitely looking forward to the rest of the season. It's sort of a positive note to end on for the spring preseason, but going into the summer, definitely, like we said, looking forward to see what's going on there. But now kind of getting towards the end of the interview, we have a little bit of news there. Number 2, Max Moon, who was the starting quarterback for the Tigers this weekend, came off the sideline with some blood running down his face. And so number 17, Keegan Stover, went in for the rest of the game. Still waiting on a follow-up from Coach Maxwell about Max Moon's status, but definitely looking to see what's going to go on there. And like I said earlier, heard that there was a kind of a 4-way matchup for the quarterback position. Definitely looking forward to seeing what's going to go on there with the summer practices and seeing who ends up taking that starting position spot going into the season. Dave, you have any comments?
Yeah, before we hit this break, obviously Coach Nelson, Coach Maxwell talked about it. I mean, they have history. They have Sequoia High School roots. Maxwell was at Sequoia forever. Nelson had come through there along with Parker as well. So those guys are very familiar with each other. And so I thought that was kind of interesting from that interview. But as Maxwell said, kind of confirming what we said earlier, I mean, hey, it's a scrimmage. There's a lot of work to be done. You take it with a grain of salt. But overall, very impressed with what I saw. And as you mentioned, Max Moon obviously getting a little bit banged up there, but obviously a lot of recovery time. And so hopefully we'll see what happens there. But it should be an interesting quarterback battle. As you mentioned, several guys in the mix over in Dawson County. Keegan Stover came in, did a pretty nice job there the remainder of the scrimmage. So a lot to talk about in the offseason leading up to the official start of high school football. And I'm excited about it, as I know you are too.
Oh yeah, definitely excited. Like I said, I have some high school football roots. I went to Mill Creek and I was a member of the color guard there. And every Friday night, of course, the marching band would have to be there on the sideline and in the stands to sort of pep up the crowd before the game. And then we would go out and do our show in the halftime. But I always absolutely loved high school football. So I'm so excited to be here on staff for Team FYN Sports and kind of see it from a reporter standpoint. And then on Friday night, I was on the sideline kind of running around, checking everything out. So that's interesting to kind of be on the sideline. When I was in the color guard, it was from a spectator standpoint. And now that I'm on the sideline as a reporter, it's from a reporter standpoint. So I'm definitely looking forward to learning more about these guys, getting to know them, watching them grow. And when we come back from our final break of the show, we'll be talking about some national sports and some regional sports with our Atlanta Hawks, Atlanta United FC, and then also, of course, our Atlanta Braves. And you all will kind of get my take on the Atlanta Braves coming from the Braves background. So stay with us. When we come back from this final break, you'll get our scoop on all things sports.
Better days ahead.
It's always Truck Month at Dave Chevrolet in Jasper, and that means maximum discounts no other dealer can touch, like over $11,000 off new Silverado crew cabs, or save over $5,500 off new Chevy Colorado. Nobody's got a selection like this, or bigger discounts than Dave Chevrolet in Jasper, where it's Truck Month every hour, every day, every month, and where Chevy trucks cost less.
Better days ahead, Dave Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
At Ingalls, we have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Welcome back, Team FYN sports fans. I'm Lauren Hunter, been hosting here with you with my co-host Dave Garner. Just want to give a shout out real fast to all of you that may just now be joining us. Want to remind you that if you like what you see, go ahead and give our Facebook page a like. You can like us at Team FYN Sports here on Facebook, and then follow us every Monday at 10 a.m. here on Team FYN Sports, an instant replay. Of course, we also have Twitter handle at Team FYN Sports and Instagram handle at Team FYN Sports. Subscribe to us on YouTube, FYN TV, fetch your news, and then you can see our email and phone number down there as well if you have a news tip or any sort of comments for us. Also want to remind you all that Team FYN Sports is always highlighting and promoting athletes in a positive way. That's what we strive to do here at Team FYN Sports. Now, Dave, to kind of wrap up our show for today, we want to highlight a little bit on Atlanta United FC and the Atlanta Hawks. Take it away for us.
Yeah, obviously we've had an action-packed show, Lauren. A great first show for you too, by the way. Appreciate everything you've done, and thank all of you out there watching, whether it be live, 10 to 11 on Monday, or on demand throughout the rest of the week. A great show today, and the focus of what we do obviously is with our high school and our prep sports. However, we do like to mix in some regional and national stuff if it is of concern or interest, and so we don't want to shorthand folks there. But yeah, obviously the Atlanta Hawks eyeing the NBA draft. They'll have picks 8 and 10 this year. We were hoping to have that number 1 lottery pick there, the Zion Williamson sweepstakes. It didn't go our way, but we'll see what happens there. I wouldn't be surprised, though. The Hawks with 5 draft picks. Would not be surprised at all to see them package a few of these picks and try to move up. Whether or not they'll be able to move up into the number 1 spot, very doubtful, but you never know. Crazier things have happened, but I'd like to see these guys, get a couple of good quality players to go along with the young nucleus that we already have now with John Collins and Trae Young. And then with the Atlanta United, don't know if you guys were watching Sunday evening, a disappointing 1-0 loss to the Red Bulls. the team that's really been our nemesis. Now, we beat them when it counted last year in the Eastern Conference Finals to move on to the MLS Cup, which we eventually won. But that's the only time we've ever beaten them. I think we're 1-5-1 now against the Red Bulls. And the sad thing about it was we had a 5-match streak going without allowing a goal. Brad Gazan's been money in the net. But yesterday, playing down a man after the Red Bulls got a red card at the end of the first half, they were able to score a goal on us, a man down, and they win 1-0 in New York. So again, it was kind of a heartbreaker for the Atlanta United. We have not won in that stadium at all since our inception. I know we've only been around a couple of years, so they've really been a thorn in our side. But for the most part, you can see Frank de Boer, this team starting to gel a little bit. I know the chemistry's not quite there yet with Pity Martinez and of course, Joseph Martinez yet. But Pity's starting to play a little bit better. We're starting to see more attack coming from this Atlanta United team. And so, I'm excited about it. I think they're certainly on the way up, but they just had a tough road game on Sunday. It was the second in a few days, of course, going to Vancouver and winning that one midweek and then having to turn around and go back to New York and play on Sunday. So hopefully we can get our legs back under us. We're obviously without Ezekiel Barco right now, who is, of course, playing internationally in the 20 and under Argentinian World Cup. So hopefully when we get him back, we'll see a little bit more offense as well. Lauren, I know we don't have a whole lot of time left, but I want to talk a little bit about the Braves, because you said something earlier. You're a Braves girl through and through, obviously having worked with the Gwinnett Braves, prior to graduation and over the last couple of seasons. The Atlanta Braves, I know we dropped one on Sunday as we were going for the 3-game sweep over the Brewers there, but all in all, this is a Braves team that's played pretty well, 7-3, I guess, over their last 10 or so. Been impressed with what I'm seeing. And Josh, behind the glass, we haven't heard from Josh either, but maybe we need to bring Josh into the conversation as well. I want to hear from you two, your takes so far on this young Braves team.
Definitely, Josh. Feel free to jump in on the conversation. What's your take on the Braves team so far this weekend?
Well, I'll just say I'm real excited to see Austin Riley come up. I've been following him since he was, all the way in A-ball. I went and watched him when he was in Mississippi a few times, spring training, Gwinnett. Probably one of the nicest people you'll ever meet on the field or off the field, honestly. And it's real exciting to see him come up and make an impact right away. I hope I don't know, I kind of want to package Ender in some kind of trade and get some pitching help and let Austin stay at the big leagues. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely excited to see Austin Riley come up from Gwinnett. Of course, he was smacking them away in Gwinnett. I think before he came up, he had something like 11 home runs. And then, of course, making his MLB debut up into Atlanta and smacked another home run. And so he's just definitely coming in, fireworks shooting out when he steps up to bat. So just to give kind of an overview with the Braves real fast, of course, won the series against the Cardinals. Blown out the first game 14-3, but bounced back second to win the series. And then, of course, mentioning Austin Riley making his MLB debut. And now he is leading the International League with 15 homers and 39 RBIs. So definitely excited to see what he does in the future. And then coming into the series against the Brewers, the Braves won that one as well, of course, dropping yesterday. But Freddie Freeman's walk-off homer in the 10th to win against the Brewers on Saturday night. Josh, what is your take on that?
Well, he's in a hot streak right now. He's had 4 straight games with a home run. Unfortunately, he couldn't repeat the walk-off against Josh Hader yesterday, but he's finding his stride. The offense is clicking with the Riley up now. If the pitching can just hold on and do what they're supposed to do, I think we're going to overtake the Phillies hopefully in the next week and a half. We just really need Freddie to stay hot because Freddie's always good, but he has had a little bit of a down kind of stretch, so he's popping out of that now, thankfully.
Yeah, definitely talking about the Phillies. The Phillies are kind of one of those teams that you love to hate now with having Bryce Harper on their side, but definitely love the Braves, love seeing these wins. It's always exciting. I wish I could have been there on Saturday night when Freddie hit that walk-off homer. I know a couple of people who were. And it's always exciting when you go to those games. It's kind of a nail-biter until the very end, and then that walk-off homer, and you're just like, yes, thank goodness it hit that walk-off. And it's just really exciting time, but definitely love the Braves, love to see what they're going to do in the future. And then, of course, from my past in Gwinnett, Dave, before we finish up, do you have anything that you want to say?
Well, just real quick in closing, obviously Freddie coming back after that the next day and hitting his 200th career home run. He's been on a tear, as you and Josh alluded to. So hopefully Freddie can stay hot, and I'm loving this young lineup. I'm like Josh. I'd like to see us somehow get some more pitching in there. But, right now you're right where you want to be at this point in the season. 3 games over 500, a game and a half or so behind Philly. So, we're right where we need to be, at this point in the season. Very happy with them. Very excited about all of our local area flavor and talent, and be excited to talk about it as we're kind of focus a lot on that over the summer, because obviously high school ball will be over with, but just excited to working with you. And man, it's been a lot of fun here today. I'll let you close it out.
Thanks, Dave. It's definitely been a great first show. Like I said, so excited to be here with you and to be here with Josh. Thank you to him for being our producer back there. Stay with us, Team FYN Sports fans, throughout the rest of the weeks as we go into the summer. Definitely, like we said, a lot going on here, both locally and regionally. We're super excited to see what happens with these players at the high school level, and then, of course, staying tuned to all of our regional sports as well. Thank you for watching today. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, along with my co-host, Dave Garner. Have a great rest of your Monday, and like I said, like what you see, go like our page on Team FYN Sports. Join us next Monday, 10 a.m. for instant replay. Have a great Monday.